Attackers can change file timestamps to hide their tracks, but they often forget one thing: the MFT. In this video, I'll show you how investigators catch that. We will first understand what the MFT is and then actually analyze it in a lab. MFT stands for Master File Table. It's the core database of NTFS. Every file on an NTFS system has an entry in the MFT. NTFS system uses the MFT to keep track of files, their location, metadata, and attributes. So what does MFT stores? It stores file names, created, modified, accessed timestamps, parent directory, record number, etc. This information is extremely valuable in investigations. So even if an attacker modifies timestamps, the MFT may still contain original values or inconsistencies. This is how investigators detect time-stomping. Using the MFT, you can answer questions like: was a file ever present? When was it created? Was it modified or renamed? What was its parent directory? And was it deleted? So let's go ahead and do some practical work. I have two virtual machines with me. One is our target VM and one is our forensics VM. So on target VM, we will collect the evidence, and on the forensics VM, we will do the investigation part. So let's get started. So we will go to File Explorer. And in the C drive, let's create a new folder. And let's name it malware. Now we can open command prompt. Let's run it as admin. And increase the text size a little bit. Let's do 28. Okay. So we open the command prompt and we have to create 4 files. So what we will do is we will use the echo command and we will say it is some malware test and write this to C malware, and let's name our first file as malware1.exe. So as you can see, we have the malware file malware1.exe. Now what we will do is we will create one more file. Let's name it test2 and let's name it malware2.exe. But for the second file, we will do a little bit of change. What we will do is we will modify the timestamps of creation for this file to simulate an attacker. So we will run the PowerShell get item and then the path C malware 2.exe, and then the creation time we will change it to let's say 2015 01 01 and 10, and close this. So the creation time of malware2.exe has been modified to 2015. For the malware1.exe, it is today's date. So let's create a third file. Let's name it malware3.exe, and similarly, let's also modify the timestamp for this. And in this case, let's go one step further. Let's also rename this file. And we will name it to save3.exe. And one last step, let's create a fourth file. Let's name it malware4.exe. Let's modify the timestamp of this. Let's also rename this into save4, and finally delete it. Okay, so let's give it some time before deletion. Meanwhile, so what we did was we created 4 files. So the first file is malware1.exe. We did nothing. We left it untouched. For the second file, malware2.exe, we created it and modified the creation timestamp. For the third one, we created it, modified the timestamp, and also renamed it. And for the fourth one, we created, modified the timestamp, renamed it, and then deleted it. So we have covered a lot of use cases here. And okay, we renamed it to safe4.exe, and this is done. So if we go back to our folder, we have these 3 files. Now comes the collection part. So now let's collect the evidence. So for this, we can use the FTK imager. So normally you can connect your USB, or you can use a shared drive, or you can even download an FTK imager on this. And once you have the FTK imager, we have also demonstrated in our previous videos how to download and run the FTK imager. You can watch them. But once you have the FTK imager, you can click on File, and then you can click on Add Evidence Item. Select the logical drive, click Next, and select the C drive, since all the activity is happening here. And once you click Finish, you will see the C drive here. Click on the plus, then again, inside the tree for Windows NTFS, you have to find the root. Then once you click on root, you will see this is the structure for the C drive, and here you will find the MFT file. So you can export this file. Now before exporting this file, there is one very key point to note. If your Microsoft Defender is active on your machine, as soon as you export this file, within few seconds it will go ahead and delete the file. So please go ahead and disable your Microsoft Defender, or you can put an exclusion to wherever you are exporting this file. So as of now, the Defender on this machine has been disabled. So I'll go ahead and put it on desktop as of now. It won't take much time, just a few seconds, and we will have our file on the desktop. So this is done. So here you can see we have the evidence. Now we need to move this evidence from this machine to our forensic machine. Again, there are multiple methods of doing this. You can use an USB, you can use a shared folder, but for the sake of this tutorial, we will quickly do a drag and drop. So I will use my host machine, and inside my host machine, I will use the E drive, and inside my lab evidence, let me delete this. I'll drag and drop it here. So this folder has already been added by me to the exclusion list. So my system machine will not flag this. Meanwhile, let's open our forensic machine. And inside that, if I remember correctly, we created one forensics images, and let's put it here under the images. So okay, this is the file. Normally this drag and drop is not much appreciated in forensic system, but for the sake of tutorial and since we are dealing with safe data, I'm just dragging and dropping the files. Okay, so we have the file on our forensic machine, and here is it. The next step is to investigate this file. For this, we will use a tool by the name of MFTECmd. This tool is provided by Eric Zimmerman. I've already downloaded it, but if you don't have it on your system, what you can do is you can just open your browser and you can search for MFTECmd download. You will see a link here, and inside this, you can directly download this. We will use the CMD one. It also has a graphical interface, but I like this one better, so you can choose any one of these. Okay, so what we can do now is we can open our command prompt. Let's again increase the font size. Let's make it 28. Okay, more visible. And now if you see, I have pasted the tool under this Windows C Forensics Tools, and this is it. So you can navigate to this directory and then directly run the tool. And it asks for a parameter of where the file is, -f, and we have stored the file on images. So we can copy this again and paste it, and under images the file is MFT copy 0. And after this we want the output as a CSV, and you can just specify a folder name. Let's keep it output as of now. Now it will take few seconds to execute. Okay, so the output is ready. We will close this, go back to the place from where we executed the tool. It was here, and this is the output folder, and we can open the CSV file. Okay, so we don't even have Microsoft Excel installed on this. So for the sake of this tutorial, let's just simply put this file on a USB, and we will open it into our host machine. Although it's not the best practice, but let's do it. So we'll just simply shut it down. Okay, so this is our CSV, and let's open it. And here we are. So now let's try to look for it. Let's put the filter option, zoom it a little bit for your visibility. And okay, so we have a lot of columns here. If I quickly tell the important ones, you can see we have a file name, we have a parent path, and then we have some timestamps related here, created and last modified and last accessed. And then we have other columns also, which you can review when you have time. Okay, so let's get started. So let's look for files. So we created 4 files by the name of malware. And yeah, it is here. So let's just unselect this. We have malware 1.exe, 2.exe, and we don't have 3.exe or 4.exe. So let's add these and look into them. So here you can see the parent is the malware folder in which we created them. For one, we just created it and left it. And for the two, if we remember it correctly, we created the file and modified the timestamp. So let's go ahead and see what we have. We have file sizes, then some columns, some tags, whether it has an data stream, and whether the time in standard information is less than the time in the file name. In second case, you can see it is true. In the first case, it is false. I'll tell you what it means in the next few columns. So here you can see under the created timestamp, it was created today, and the second file, it was created in 2015. So this was the file in which we simulated an attacker and modified the timestamp to 2015. So whoever is investigating this, we could fool them. And the next we have the created timestamp, but this one is from file name. So here you can see the timestamp is of 2 days. So this difference is a red flag. So whenever you will see that these columns created timestamps have different timestamp, this one is from the standard information, which could be easily modified, but this one is from the file name, which is difficult to modify. A difference in these timestamps is a huge red flag and needs further investigation. Then we have last modified timestamps, last recorded timestamp, and last accessed timestamp. And similarly, if we go to our file name and look for the other files which were, I think, named by safe. So we have a safe3.exe. We created 2 files, safe3 and safe4. Safe4 got deleted. So it's not always that the deleted files don't appear there. Sometimes the deleted files entries stay in the MFT tables, but other times it's either overwritten or reused by some other things. So here in this case, we are not able to find the save4, but we can find our save3 file, which we renamed. In this case, you can see we don't have the timestamp for the file name. Hence, we have only one timestamp or 2015. In this case, we can't confirm whether it was manipulated by an attacker. So we have to review some other artifacts to build a full timeline. So to summarize, even though we try to hide activity, the MFT still tells the story. In real investigations, we combine this with other artifacts to build a full timeline. We review event logs, registry, prefetch files, amcache, etc. This is why the MFT is one of the most important artifacts in digital forensics. Like, share and subscribe if you are learning digital forensics and incident response. I'm breaking everything down step by step. I'll see you in the next one. Keep defending.